All right. 3, 2.
No, I'm not going to get used to this.
No, there's like no chance of this happening. Okay, yeah. The reason why we didn't clap, because we're trying something new right now. We're getting into video basically. Like we're expanding. We spent all the months in between episodes working on, setting up a YouTube channel, which I think we did in 5 minutes, as you can tell from the very professional graphics on the channel. And now we're streaming. We're streaming now. And
we have graphics on the channel?
I don't know, something like that.
Okay.
I don't know what our intern does. Like,
define graphics.
Yeah. Well, one of the worst hires we ever had. He knows what he's doing. Or what he's not doing. Yeah. Anyway, okay, welcome to another episode back at the shul. This is the Pre-Purim special. There will be another episode before Pesach, so before everybody starts jamming down our throats, and we do appreciate it, but before everyone starts jamming down our throats, there will be another one before Pesach, probably with a guest, so you don't have to get sick and tired of our three voices. We're brought to you by, as you can see on the screen, hint, hint, go to YouTube, check it out, make us, it's very embarrassing right now, the no views, and I get it, we just put this up last night, we're recording on Wednesday, but it's very embarrassing, the no views. So, but when you watch us, you'll see we're brought to you by Vant Kosher, premium kosher charcuterie. Purim is right around the corner. This is the Wednesday before Purim. No, there's another Wednesday before Purim.
I mean, it technically is Wednesday, and it is before Purim. So,
but is it the Wednesday?
It is not the Wednesday before Purim, but it is Wednesday before Purim.
Okay, you heard it here first. Not the Wednesday before Purim, so mark that on your calendars. They have a lot of stuff. They have a bunch of specials going on right now. Joe, did they send you?
Yeah. So as the resident foodie on the podcast, they did in fact send me. I got to figure out the camera angles, but they did send me a charcuterie board, which I will be opening and eating in middle of the show. So when you see me chewing on screen, that'll be why.
Yeah. I feel like that's a wonderful idea.
Yeah.
You'll see a lot of this.
Yeah. The lighting was terrible, so I don't think anybody saw that. So that was just
the point is they saw that there was something there, although most of them probably can't differentiate between my face and a board of meat, but it's understandable.
Wow. We're going with the racial humor right off the bat. Oh, wow. How many people right now are do you think, Joe, this is a question for you. How many people right now are checking out Menachem, for shidduch purposes?
Well, I mean, that would explain why he was combing his hair before the show. I'm just...
Yeah, Menachem showered, shaved, and was combing his hair for about, we're about 40 minutes late to the party. We usually record at about 9:30 at night. It's 10:10 now.
So not to be mean, but this is the best he's going to get.
Yeah, it's a very close shave, so...
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So this is like we just said. Oh yeah. So go. We were in the middle of an ad read, right? Yeah. Vant Kosher, the premium kosher charcuterie. I just ordered from them 2 weeks ago. Had a bunch of guests over, a bunch of Bachram over, more specifically. Had to impress. It did impress. You can check them out on Instagram at Vant Kosher. The number will be, I don't know. We'll post it somewhere. They'll get their money's worth. Okay, yeah. So we're recording this a little bit before Purim, right before another snowstorm. 2020. Am I right? When will it end?
I mean, hopefully not another snowstorm. Would be nice if they're wrong. I mean, by the time you listen to this, you'll know if there was or there wasn't. So
yeah, God, 2020.
unless this comes out late tonight.
No,
I guess we'll see. No. Okay. you heard it now. Not happening.
Yeah. So It's been a while since we last recorded. I think the last time we did was right around New Year's time, maybe, or something like that. So much has happened. So we figured because it's so infrequent, we might as well introduce a sort of new segment. Do we have a name for it, Menachem?
Yeah, I think we're gonna call it Night Seder Chazara, because it's just a quick Chazara for a minute or two, and then just schmoozing for an hour and a half. So
Fine. Sounds good. So let's start. Okay, we're not going to go in order in terms of like what happened, but the question that is still on everybody's mind, and I get that it's been beaten into the ground a little bit, but the question that's still on everybody's mind is, okay, Macher's magazine, real or fake?
Okay, so I mean, I'll tell you that the people who are doing this, they're either the most self-aware people in the world or the least self-aware people in the world. I'm not sure which, but either it's like a really, really good troll and it's really fake, or it's actually real and they're just really not self-aware. I don't know. I honestly, I've gone back and forth at least like 20 times, right? I honestly have no idea.
I still think it's a troll, and I said this, and I texted you guys right before we went on. Someone sent me, was it my wife? Someone sent me pictures, like screenshots. Yeah, it was my wife. Like she asked me if I had heard of Macher's magazine, like right before we started recording. And I'm like, did I hear of Macher's magazine? It's been the talk of town for like a month and a half already. And she sent me screenshots of someone who actually subscribed. And it looks like it's real, but I don't know. I still think this is an epic troll job.
So Menachem and I had a discussion about this, probably a 25-minute discussion about the pronunciation of it, and is that a proof for or against it? Meaning, sorry, the spelling of it. Now, Menachem said that nobody in their right mind would ever spell Macher with an O.
Right.
But I said the only people who would spell it with an O are the people who would pronounce it Macher. And those are the Machers, and those are the people who would.
Okay, who's used the term? Have you heard the term Macher in the last, I don't know, 15 years? I haven't.
Not since fourth grade, probably.
Not since the mid aughts, like the mid 2000s.
I feel like there's a different word that people use now. I don't know what it is, but
Hacker.
I feel that I feel like that's the word. I think nobody uses Macher anymore.
Yeah, I'm sure there's other stuff. So some other people might call it like a LinkedIn celebrity. Like nobody uses the term anymore. That's why I think this is really fake. And you mark my words, this is going to be like some Bernie Madoff level Ponzi scheming, because it's not real. I'm telling you, it's not real. If anybody out there, any of our listeners have subscribed, please show us proof. Like we need because we all think it's.
If anyone gets an actual physical magazine, please let us know. I would love to see it.
We'll give them a free subscription to Back of the Shul Prime.
Gifted. Yeah. Okay, so that was number one on the list. Number two, this has also been beaten into the ground, obviously, especially in the moment, but it really was the culmination of the symbiotic relationship between Robin Hood and the Frum world and the real like the Yeshivish world, which is the whole GameStop scandal.
Did you buy any?
Of course. Of course I did.
Really? What did you get in at?
Okay, so I got in at AMC at $4.85 a share, and I tried selling it when it was 20, and Robinhood wouldn't let me. I also have a Charles Schwab account, and they wouldn't let me either. And I got in at Sundial at I think 38 cents a share. That I was able to sell at $2 a share, so that was good. But GameStop, that was the issue. I got talked into doing it because I was convinced that the second I bought it, it would the bottom would fall out and it would collapse.
Yeah, that's why I never did it, because by the time I heard about it, I'm just late to these things. By the time I heard about it, was too high. I mean, the truth is it wasn't that high at that point, but I just thought whenever I bought in it was gonna go down, so I just never did it.
Yeah, so I got talked into, and I know he listens to the show by Yosef and I, our brother-in-law, Avrami. So he talked me into it, and now I'm not going to say he was wrong because it did go up after I bought it at $300 a share. But hey, listen, you see these hands on the stream right here? These are called diamond hands because I'm still holding on.
No way. Are you actually?
Yeah, I've been buying it back and selling it at like now that it's gone down. I've recouped most of my losses on it.
That's not great.
But you ain't looking at no paper hands here. This is straight diamond.
Yeah. I mean, I was just too like with all of these things. I really just figured that as soon as I bought it, it was going to go down. The only thing I bought for a little bit, I bought Nokia, or is it Nokia? I don't know. I bought that for a little bit, and then I made like, I don't know, $200 on that, and then I just put all of that into Dogecoin, and then I'm leaving it there forever, I think.
Dogecoin to the moon. Yeah. I got into the, what do they call it? Cryptocurrency. Bitcoin Rabbi. He's a loyal listener and a great guy, even better person. So yeah, he I'm sure we should really have him on again because.
Oh yeah, he could definitely explain all of this a lot better.
If the trend with Bitcoin is any indication, he's too rich to come onto our show anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
Okay, so that was GameStop, and next on the ticker is the Capitol riots, and then next on the ticker, Super Bowl parties.
Yes, I had a nice Super Bowl party. A bunch of people. It was a boring game, but the party was fun. Good food.
You know what?
How was your Super Bowl party?
Yeah, we're not going to talk about it. You know what what do you call it? You know what I realized this year? I didn't see any advertisements. Maybe I wasn't looking in the right papers, but I didn't see any advertisements for what do they call it? The Super Bowl yeshiva learning, not yeshiva's Mordechai Tzaddik.
Oh, you didn't? I saw a bunch.
Really?
Yeah.
I wasn't like reading the right papers.
I mean, maybe not specifically. I mean, I didn't specifically read exactly what it was saying, but there was definitely Jewish stuff going on with the Super Bowl. I think like shiurim and stuff. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean,
well, of course they have the halftime show.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, those halftime shows probably would have been better than the actual one this year, but
I don't know.
The halftime show isn't necessarily like the main selling point because, yeah, nobody watches the halftime show anymore since like 2005. But
I'm Avin Yavin.
Yeah. But I think I'll tell you what my issue is. Like, you got to do a better job like pulling people in. Okay, so I could either watch the most anticipated sporting event of the year, or I can hear like Goylem stories from like 8 to 8:30 in the Agudav Avenue L. Like, come on, like you got to do a better selling job. And I get that it's going to be a raffle with prizes, but like, come on, you got to do a better job.
I think this is the mindset with all of this. It's that whoever wants to watch the Super Bowl, they're going to watch the Super Bowl no matter what. Like, no matter how good what you're doing is, they're going to watch the Super Bowl anyway. Whoever doesn't want to watch the Super Bowl and is the type that's going to go to these things is going to go no matter what. So I don't see any point to any of this, but that's just me. So I don't know.
Right. And also, like, in terms of the food, you got to up the ante because Super Bowl parties, at least the ones I go to, like, they're getting better every year. As the Jewish world evolves, palate-wise, they're getting better. Like, I'm sorry, Dougie's doesn't exist anymore, really. But, I mean, besides for Teaneck and I don't know, does the one in Deal still exist?
The Teaneck one doesn't count. It's disgusting. The Baltimore one's pretty good, though.
Sorry to any of our Teaneck listeners. It's so bad.
It's absolutely. I mean, well, yeah, but that doesn't really exist during the Super Bowl.
Right, exactly. So I'm saying, like, whoever they're ordering from this year, it's like, come on, you got to up the ante. I don't know. So yeah, that was the roundup. What were we calling this again? Not a roundup.
Night Seder Chazara.
Chazara, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay. So next, Minyan Updates.
Oh. Wait, and actually, I'm not sure if this should really be a Night Seder Chazara or something else. I don't know. But I guess it was something that I noticed a little while ago. But I don't know if you guys have seen this at all, but I feel like it's becoming a thing now for like it's a little bit sort of like a Stark thing for maybe like seminary age girls or stuff like that to not have WhatsApp on their phone because it's like a waste of time or something. Maybe it's not maybe I'm just finding out about it now, but when I heard about it, I thought that it was just very typical of like a seminary from thing to do, to be from in the most annoying way possible for everybody else, because it's like you could have picked anything else to take off. You had to pick the one thing that is going to inconvenience everyone in your family, and like, oh, you wanted to post something on the group chat so that everyone in the family could see it? Well, too bad, you're going to have to send this to one person who's not on the chat.
On a related note, Menachem's sister is in seminary.
Well, not yet, but
man, yeah.
That's why I said seminary age. But no, like,
right.
At first I thought it was just her, and then I'm realizing that apparently this is a thing now that people are doing.
It was a total shot in the dark that I was. Yeah. I have no idea how old your sister is, but
you just so happen to be right. But
yeah. I mean, it's definitely true. Like, because the rationale behind it that I always hear is, yeah, well, it's like a distraction, or there's a lot of lashon hara, so just don't talk lashon hara on it. Like,
right.
WhatsApp,
yeah,
WhatsApp is not lashon hara. Like, the actual WhatsApp isn't. It's just what you do. So just don't do it.
And like, why is it different than texting? Like, you can make a text group and also talk lashon hara and wait. I don't know. The whole thing just makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever, and I just thought it was just very classic to be religious just on everyone else's cheshbon in the most annoying way possible.
It's like, remember back in the day, probably like a good 10, 12 years ago, when everybody was trying to, like, the real kosher phone craze, like when everybody was saying, like, bashing texting. I heard, like, one of the reasons that was given was like, oh, texting, like, destroys families, and there's like it leads to like infidelity, and it's like, man, like, it's not like we had any infidelity for, like, I don't know, 5,000 years. They found ways
it probably did make it easier, but it's just funny looking back on it, because like that was one level, and we've gotten like so far since then.
You think they did it with like the printing, like when what's his name, Johann Gutenberg or whatever, like when he came out with it, like, the printing press, who knows what's going to happen.
But you could use it for Svarim, though. There's good.
Like, well, it'd be great if they would do the same thing with the internet, if they'd be okay with that. Like, you can use the printing, you can use the internet, but only for Svar. I'm just picturing Gutenberg going LOL.
Yeah. I only have a printing press at work. Oh man.
All right. Okay. So should we get to Minyan Updates? Yeah.
Go for it.
What?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So I had two things. So one thing was, so you know how they say every time you go to a baseball game, you'll see something you never saw before?
Well, John Sterling says that. Who else does? But...
okay. Well, either way. So I was davening in a shtibel the other day for Shacharis, and I saw something that I've never seen before, and I was thoroughly impressed by it. So there was this guy, he was davening for the Amud, and he gets up to Ashrei V'Tzion, and the guy walks like away, and he starts walking throughout the entire show. He takes out like a bunch of dollar bills from his pocket, some coins, and just walks around while saying the entire Ashrei V'Tzion by heart. He goes around the show collecting money for whatever he was collecting for, and then just finishes, like, he timed it perfectly, like, finished saying the whole Ashrei V'Tzion by heart, gets back to the Amud, and just continues like absolutely nothing happened. And I was standing there in shock. I couldn't believe it. It was one of the most bold moves I've ever seen pulled off. It was definitely interesting.
The Shliach Tzibur did this?
Yes.
Whoa.
It was like, at first I didn't understand what was happening. It didn't register right away. And then, like, I'm just like, wait, where's he going? Did he do that? And it's like, yeah, he's doing it.
Okay, so there's a couple of ways to go with this. Do you think he has like a mental cheshbon in his head, like how much money he can collect in that span of time? So it's like after davening, he puts like on a piece of paper, okay, Tuesday, $23.47. And then like the next day, it keeps a tally of like how much he's doing. And second thing, you need to practice that. So what happened the first? Like,
I don't. That's a good question. But it could be that. What?
Have you ever been the Chaz? I don't know if anyone else has ever been the Chazan on Hoshana Rabbah.
I can't imagine ever doing that, and I don't understand why anyone would want that.
Anytime you make a hakafa around the shul, so you have to time that out perfectly, because otherwise you end up having to run the last few or hang out the last few, and it's a problem. That's definitely not ideal.
Yeah, I could see that being similar to that. But
yeah, similar concept.
That is an impressive accomplishment. That's athletic. That's just straight up athletic.
Definitely.
Wow.
And okay, there was another thing that I had. So, do you guys both have the ESPN app?
I have it. I never use it.
Yeah, I haven't opened it in a couple of months.
Okay, well, so they had the way I noticed it recently, because it wasn't like this, but it used to be that you could pick your favorites, and those teams games would be at the top. And then when the season was over, the last game of the season would stay there for like months until like the new season was ready to start. And I noticed that this year they stopped doing it. Or it could be they stopped earlier. I just didn't notice it till now. And I just thought that was great, because I just remember that season where like the Jets lost to the Patriots like 38-3, the last game of the season. I just had that like at the top of my app every single time I opened it. So I was just very happy that they don't have that anymore. So that was just something that I noticed.
Because you had been seeing the Yankees losing for a while?
Well, I specifically noticed it by the Jets. I don't remember specifically noticing it but like I just noticed it specifically with the Jets, because I feel like every single year the Jets' last game of the season, they just get destroyed by either the Patriots or someone else, and I just have to see that like for months.
Right.
Thoughts and prayers.
So I have 3 of them. I saw a sign in a shul. They were advertising for a shear. I don't remember what holiday it was, but it was on a Monday morning when people have off. It could be New Year's. It could be I don't remember. But the sign read, "The bottom line of kosher wine," and "a small schmooze about kosher booze." And it was a sheer about the halachas of alcohol and kashrus in alcohol and all that. And so the editing process there definitely broke down, because the Maggid Shir definitely came in and he's like, "I have a phenomenal title for the Shir." And he said, "Oh, the bottom line of kosher wine and a small schmooze about kosher booze." And someone had to tell him, like, let's pull that back a little bit.
So
wait, where was this in Passaic? That's my first question.
No, it wasn't in Passaic.
Okay. So that if it wasn't Passaic, I would say, okay, fine, that makes sense. But once it's not, then we have to understand what's going on here.
Yeah, there was a problem there.
Passaic and drinking is a funny thing, by the way. I don't want to like get into the Purim thing, because like our Mizrach Vant is like the Mizrach Vant of Purim, but I always had a joke. How do you know when a Passaic guy is drunk on Purim? The corner of his mouth is twitched upwards.
So this actually leads into my next one very nicely. I get the Yeshiva World updates, and every so often I see something from the Rabbanim of this town are saying, "Please don't come here to collect." So it started with LA, started with Lakewood, and all of that made sense to me. But then Chicago and Cleveland and Passaic are saying the same thing. I'm like, people weren't coming. They weren't coming.
Yeah, that's like I was gonna break up with her anyway. Like, oh, I broke up with her. She didn't break up with me.
Right. So I didn't understand it. It just didn't make any sense to me. Now, as a Muncie resident, this leads me into my third one, which is...
Wait, 1 second. Before you get into that, I just want to give another analogy. This is going to be exactly what Duke is going to be doing in a few weeks with Coach K. They're going to be saying, "We are opting out of the NCAA tournament this year." So continue.
So this leads me into my third one, which is this is absolutely peak Midrashim season. Because right now, every bacher is looking up Midrashim to come up with some convoluted Dvar Torah that they can say when they go around to collect, and you have to use the Midrashim on the Megillah. So this is back.
Mm-hmm. I hear. No, that's a good one. There's always like different. It's like different ways that the Gvirim, or even just any Balabas toys with the guys collecting. For me personally, it's just going through my wallet and like holding up a thick wad and pulling out a 5. Like that's the way I do it. But making them say a Dvar Torah, look, we've all been there. We've all gone collecting. Like that's definitely up. I actually had a question. Sorry, I'm like my brain's jumping. Is collecting a thing in like, I don't know. I don't want to sound like I'm pigeonholing anybody, but like I don't know, Teaneck. Is that a thing? Is collecting a thing there?
We collect mitzvahs hayom.
Yeah, no, I honestly have absolutely no idea. I
feel
don't
like
even.
It's not.
No, because I don't want to make like generalizations or just even presumptions, especially when we get into Purim. But I feel like it's a different existence. No.
I mean,
yeah, I don't think
somewhat,
it is.
Yeah. Honestly, none of us have any idea. We're a very diverse podcast, as you can see.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I don't have any Minyan updates at all, but I did have like a recommendation. Now, the recommendation isn't for everyone, I'll admit. See, unlike the hosts of this podcast, as you just heard about 3 seconds ago, our listenership is pretty diverse. So for those that can handle some, slightly raunchy humor, it's not really, but slightly raunchy. I started listening to this podcast. You guys know Chris DiStefano, the comedian?
Yeah.
The name sounds vaguely familiar, but that's about it.
He's a very funny guy. His stand-up's okay, but he has a bunch of podcasts, and each one is hilarious. But the one that I enjoy is History Hyenas. It's basically he invites a comedian on, and they go through a topic in history, but it's hysterical how they do it. So like he'll have Mark Normand on. He's from Louisiana. He's from New Orleans. And they'll like go through the history of New Orleans, but it's hysterical how they do it. He had this guy Ryan Long. You know Ryan Long? He does a lot of like
sounds like a football player.
I was gonna say that. Yeah.
Hysterical comedian. So he had him on to like talk about a serial killer in Toronto, and it's really funny. It's laugh out loud funny from beginning to end. So I would just recommend that. And for those that watch and TV shows, I got Menachem into it. Even though there's not too many episodes, and I know they're a little behind, but Barry.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's a really good. I know I'm a little late to the party, but yeah.
It's somewhat dark humor, but I love it.
Yes.
I mean, no, I wouldn't say. I think the "but" was a little misplaced there. It's somewhat dark humor, so I love it.
Yeah.
So are we calling that the rebellious Mesivta Bacher update or something?
Rebellious Mizrach Vant. Let's save that for the Mizrach Vant of Purim.
No, I know, but I'm talking specifically about having a somewhat raunchy humor recommendation and a TV show recommendation.
Like I'll admit, it depends on the episode. Like some of it is like the language is a little much, but the actual content is hilarious. Anyway, yeah. Okay, so I had a Shemona Esrei thought, and it's almost like a Dvar Torah, if we really want to be honest. So everybody listen in carefully. If you're watching, move closer to the screen.
So pardon me while I
Yeah, you can bust that open. So you know how I thought of this in Parshas B'Shalach, like Yetzias Mitzrayim. You know how Jews are late to the party by like 15 years for everything except for WhatsApp, but for everything else they always show up like 15 years. Like a perfect example is actually what Joe is holding, like the charcuterie boards, a good 10 to 15 years behind the times, right?
Yeah.
And I mean for everything. Like we were 20 years late to Cancun, like 50 years late to Orlando, and now we're about 15 years late to Dubai, right? So I realized that heading out to like from Yetzias Mitzrayim going to Eretz Yisrael, we were late to that too. There were like 31 kings there already by the time the Jews got there. So like Maisa Avos Siman Labanim, Jews were way behind the times when they wanted to get something that they wanted. That's your Dvar Torah and slash Shemona Esrei.
There it is.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Think about it. It took freaking 40 years.
No, it's definitely true, but
I mean,
I don't know. Calling it a Dvar Torah is
yeah, it's a bit of a stretch, but
it was primarily a Shemona Esrei thought. I thought of it during Shemona Esrei, but it's just something that I realized, like, we're always late, and it started from when we became a nation.
I realize that our name for the segment is a problem, because really the definition of a Shemona Esrei thought is one that you forget by the end of Shemona Esrei.
I
guess, not really.
But not.
Oh, wait,
I don't know.
I had another Menachem, and I had this one for you. I actually asked Joe about this like a week and a half ago.
Oh, this is a big one.
Yeah, it's a big one. Sorry. Just thank you for unintentionally reminding me. Okay. What is a bigger like take away the guy's man card move for a frum guy than voluntarily walking into a milchig restaurant? Like, is there any bigger wuss move than for a frum guy? I'm not talking about on a date. I'm not talking about that. But like just voluntarily.
So I had
like,
three. Let me give Menachem my three options.
Wait, no, I know you have, but like, let me just pose this question to Menachem.
Oh, yeah,
like,
sure.
I want you. Like, is there a bigger wuss move than a frum male walking into a milchig restaurant voluntarily?
All right, while you chew on that.
I'm trying to think. I can't think of anything.
So I had three.
I will say though that I've had a long-standing belief that there's never, I mean, aside for a date when the girl just wants dairy food or whatever, but like there's no point ever in going to a milchig restaurant because there's nothing in there that I just can't easily just do my like. Most of the time when I'm getting like Big Ziti or something. I could take noodles and put sauce and cheese and put in my toaster easily for like 1/10 of the price, and it's probably better. It's like I can't sit there and make a steak the same way that they make it there. Like that's just not something I can do. And it's also so much better.
On restaurants in general.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But yeah, I'll give you my. It's actually four.
Okay.
I have four of them. Number one is going to a fleishig restaurant and ordering pariv.
Okay, 1 second. Let me stop you right there. Going to Dougie's and ordering a salad.
I don't know if he listens to the podcast. But yeah, going into a fleishig restaurant and ordering pariv, number one. Number two, baking challah. If you're a guy by yourself for Shabbos and you bake challah, man card.
Ooh, I have another one. The truth is I've never seen any guy do this, so I can't even say like this is a thing. But if any guy takes those like by the chuppah, takes those booklets and starts like reading the tefillos at the chuppah, that's probably one.
That's a great one.
Very good
one. My next one is saying Shir Hashirim on a regular basis.
Saying Tehillim.
And then this last one, and I think this is actually a really good one, is davening with your face in the Seder.
Also a good one. Or benching with your bencher like this. Oh, these are good ones.
Yeah, so those were the four that I came up with.
These are good ones. Is it more like the one that I would say is it more of a wuss move, like more of a take away your man card move than the milchig restaurant? That's what I'm saying. I'm not sure. It's certainly on par.
It would have to depend on the situation. Like there are situations in which it would there are situations in which walking into a milchig restaurant could be like the most wuss thing that you could do. Like if you're going with like a group of guys to a milchig restaurant, I don't think there's anything more like take away your man card than that. Like
hand up against my will. And I know a bunch of them listen to this podcast, but like we had a high school reunion a bunch of years ago before I was married, but it was at some milchig place in Queens, and I almost didn't go at a protest because it's like a bunch of guys gathering in a milchig restaurant. It was something that I couldn't stomach. But I went in. I showed up late. I was there for like 15 minutes. I couldn't
So
stomach
you're
it.
gonna have to help me get my eyebrows down because
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. It was not a good move.
Yeah.
Not a good.
Yeah, it's a great question. This is something I think that we need to get response from our listenership
Yeah,
on
for
because
sure. By the way, the reason why I'm posing this now, I don't have any qualms in terms of people like manufacturing offense at anything because we're boycotting Twitter. So like the half of our audience.
Oh,
that
is that still like I haven't been on from Twitter at all? Like, are we still boycotting? Are they somewhat back to normal?
Okay,
No?
yeah, like this is. I get like maybe I'll have to cut this. Maybe I won't because like we try to stay out of thorny issues, as you heard from our riveting analysis of the Capitol riots. So AY was interviewed for Meaningful People, so he became
Oh,
a meaningful
really?
person. Yeah.
Cool.
So I saw his post. I still log on to Twitter to like check what's happening, and I see like
he
half the
hate
comments-
reads.
yeah, it was hate. I see like half the comments like people saying like screenshotting the screenshot. No, screenshotting the picture of him with whoever he was with. I don't remember, and like half the comments are like, "Where's your mask? Where's your mask? Where's your mask?" And it's like, why is that your first comment? What?
Did anybody write a Notes app analysis of it?
Yeah, exactly. No, he wrote a Notes app apology.
Yeah.
No, it's that like I mean whatever. That's the reason why we
And
cut
like
our audience. And
it's still like this. It's
it's
still
still
bad.
it was just today. It was today.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's like I don't understand the mentality of like trying to like just people drunk on their own moral superiority. It's unbelievable.
It's also precursor to our Mizrach.
Yes. Also, yes. Exactly. No. No spoiler. Okay, so let's get into a little bit of Purim talk before we
Wait,
get to
does that need to,
Mizrach
wait, hold on. Does that need to be the first pick now?
No.
No, because
okay.
I don't think it was ever the first pick.
Okay, I wanted to be sure.
It's like Demario Davis, good value, third round. It's just
right.
Got it.
Yeah.
I mean, Yosef, you're welcome to take it in the first round. I'll allow it, especially since
what?
I have the last pick in the first round. So
Menachem, go duchy fast yourself.
Joe has been known for his reaches, shall we say?
I still have not won a Mizrach somehow.
I mean, I
Joe?
don't see I don't understand why that's something that you find surprising.
Exactly.
I'm sorry.
Joe, some of your
Because
picks
honestly, because people who don't have a horse in the race have said Avi Schwartz, Harav Avi Schwartz said not even a question that I won. I don't remember which one it was, and I got like 5% of the vote.
Because
yeah. Yeah, I'm sure the opinion of one person is definitely indicative of what everyone else thinks.
Joe, we have more than a few listeners. Not as much anymore. Again, like we said, we cut our audience in half. But we did. I looked at the numbers, and since we boycotted Twitter, we cut our audience in half, and I'm very happy about it.
I don't know if it was necessarily also because once we put out no,
hold on, Menachem, hold on. I need to point the right way. Look at this guy being drunk in his own moral superiority for boycotting Twitter.
No, I'm just saying that usually, because we only had one since we did, and usually when we put out a new one, the one before gets a lot more.
Right.
This is not really important. Okay, let's move on.
That was the inside baseball, inside the shul. Okay, so let's get to like a little bit of Purim talk, and then we'll kind of segue that into the Mizrach Vant of Purim. I want to keep like this part a little short, just because I don't want to take too much from the Mizrach Vant because. Yeah, it's going to be very open-ended. So the question
the truth is we could switch it up. We could do the Mizrach Vant first, and then so that like we don't discuss anything before, and then segue that into Purim talk. I don't know if that's something that you want to do. This is probably a great time to be discussing this, by the way. And my okay, my camera went out again.
Menachem's gone.
For the audio, Menachem's gone once again. Yeah. Okay, let's talk everything we want behind his back.
Yeah.
His hair
Did
kind
you
of
see
looked out of whack.
his LSU shirt? Oh my god! And I don't know if you noticed his headphones. It looks like he's wearing a necklace.
And what were those shoes?
We do have to talk to him about that painting that's behind his head.
Yeah, at first I thought it was a flamingo. I'm not wearing my glasses because of the glare.
I'm pretty sure it's a flower, but I'm not sure.
He says he's back. I don't see him. I see him.
The painting kind of makes it look like he's got a little sugar in his tank.
What were you just saying about my painting? So, funny story about the painting though. I was living in this apartment for at least like, I don't know, 2.5 years before I realized that there was a painting on the wall. Because someone came by and they said like, oh, he's like, point to the wall. He's like, oh, it's a nice picture on the wall. Also, I don't think it's a painting. I honestly have no idea. Whatever it is, it's a picture. It's like, nice picture. I looked at it, and that was the first time I even noticed that there was a picture on the wall. So I've not hung up anything, and I haven't taken anything down. So whatever it is, like, that's the way I found it.
Fine. You know what? Let's go straight to the Mizrach Vant of Purim.
Oh, but by the way, I just remembered a story that happened. I think it was 2 Purims ago with me. So somehow a friend of mine picked me up from. I was in Staten Island for Purim, and a friend of mine. This was like the night after Purim. It's like Purim was already over. Like, we had the Sudas, just like whatever. It was just like after, whenever it was. So my friend just decided that he was gonna go to a Devils game and he was gonna pick me up. So he picked me up. I was dressed as Beetlejuice, like completely, like all the way, and he just picked me up. We drove to New Jersey. We went to the game, and it was by far the most fun I've ever had at any sporting event. And I don't even like hockey. It was. Now I understand why, like, all those people who like dress up and get drunk and go crazy. Like, I understand it. It was unbelievable. Right. So like, and I would never have been able to do this normally because I'm not the type of person who could just go to a sports game and just like go crazy. But when I'm drunk, I can. So that's I guess that's somewhat of an insight into me being drunk.
That explains the playoff game that we went to.
Does it?
The Yankees game that we went to. It explains a lot.
I don't even know what you're trying to say.
I was trying to say you got drunk, but the truth is you had one beer. So kind of
Joe, in general, inside jokes don't really play when you're like talking to like 7,000 people.
Yeah, I know that, but it doesn't make it any less funny for me to say it.
I'm glad that you find yourself funny.
This is why I laugh at all my own jokes. That way, there's never a silence afterwards. Someone's always laughing.
Yeah, it's who's the comedian that always laughs at their own jokes? There's some comedian. I'm blanking on it. This is great radio right now.
I mean, there's something to do with
and television.
Like Dave Chappelle does it purposely. Like, he'll hit his knee and pretend that he's laughing. I don't know.
There's one. Whatever. I forget.
I'm sorry.
What?
Andrew Schultz?
I don't even know.
Maybe Andrew Schultz. Yeah, maybe.
Who did you say before?
I said Aziz Ansari.
No,
Menachem said stand-up comedians.
Yeah.
Okay, it slipped my mind, and there. If I remember it, I remember it, and that's it.
Anyway, yeah. Okay. So can I give up my number one spot? Like, could I trade down?
No.
The order is the order, and that's it. So it's the number one spot is not necessarily the best spot.
It's the
number one spot. It can be.
I want to see like where everybody's going with this because I have a list right that's like 16 strong, but I don't want to botch it, you know, especially with number one.
I'm very happy with the spot I'm in. I'm very happy being third.
Yeah, you should be. I mean, I'm just trying to think. How do I? Okay. Hold on, I'm just
This video
setting this
this
up.
video portion is going to be fascinating because you can see me zone out when you guys talked about like the stock market and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like while you
Yeah.
guys are making trades on Robinhood and Charles Schwab, I'm playing Candy Crush.
I don't think that I just noticed now. I don't think you didn't even answer that when we were talking about the stocks. We just ignored you and went on to the next thing.
No, I have nothing to add. What am I supposed
Right,
to say?
but I didn't even know.
Oh, I passed level 513 on Candy Crush.
Okay. I'm just gonna have to start. Okay, so I'll start. So yeah, Mizrach Vant of Purim. I'll start. This is not necessarily a good one. I'm just starting from like when we were kids. So the
Oh yeah, I mean,
Shushan,
to be clear, like all of this stuff could be at any age from whenever. It's just there's no limitations here. It's just Mizrach Vant of Purim could be anyone, anyhow, anywhere, whatever.
right. So I want to incorporate like all, all facets and stages. So for me right now, as you'll soon see in a second, my number one pick, because you got to start from the foundations, is the Shushan Purim trading. As you can see, it popped up on the screen now. The Shushan Purim.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. The Shushan Purim trade deadline, like the hot stove, when you're, I mean, it's wheeling and dealing, and it makes the stock, the floor of the stock exchange look like, I don't know, a kid's game, Some of those deals.
It's intense.
There is also a very traumatic period, like age 11, 12, where guys are starting to go collecting, and so you don't have as many guys to go to, but you also still want to trade, so you don't have as many as you used to have, and so you don't have as much to trade. It's a very traumatic time.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I would say that's a tricky age.
Yeah.
Starting from when you're 11 through like 14, when you're too old for the typical kiddie activities on on Purim, but you're too young to collect. Certainly
you're too young to get drunk.
We don't condone underage.
Yeah. Oh yes. I mean. Yeah, we don't. Do we not? Like, I don't think we condone it, but I don't think we specifically don't condone it.
We don't have an opinion on it.
I haven't an opinion.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with banging by Haman.
Now, okay, maybe I should have wanted the second pick.
Once I'm saying banging by Haman, I'm gonna include into it because you can't really go with this other one, but included in that is the guy who gets upset because people are banging by Haman.
I hear that.
So, yeah, I mean, it depends though, because what's the situation? Like, is it just a regular shul setting, like where people are banging by Haman, or?
So I'll tell you, there is again a sweet spot when it comes to that, and that's a yeshiva minyan that is also attended by non-yeshiva people. So any minyan that has Bachrim basically is going to have but a large group of Bachrim is going to have like a lot, very long, loud banging by Haman. But people get very upset by it. Also, there's another very big one, which is the half-hearted banging by Haman when you're at like the 7 o'clock minyan on Purim, but it's too early for the kids to be up, so all you get is like the guy in the back banging his tefillin case a few times.
Lightly tapping his shoe.
Right.
Boo. Boo.
The boos are the best.
Yeah. Those are always.
It's like thumbs down.
Yeah. But also, I forgot how much there was here, but like the 16-year-old sitting next to his father, the father is enthusiastically waving the grog around, and he's blushing. And
Joe, you also have the guy who gets because I have this on my list, but I can't use it now. But the guy who gets the last Haman bang and makes the buck.
Yeah, and is always proud of himself.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a rich area.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good one. I'm really upset because I wanted to get that one, but all right. So fine. My first pick is going to be it's similar to it's somewhat similar to what Shlomo was saying in that it has to do with candy, but it's the specific feeling that you get when you get a shalach manos from someone and you're opening it up and you see like your favorite candy is there. That excitement is just. And by the way, if you want to know what our favorite candies are, you could go back and listen to the Mizrach Vant of Shabbos party foods. But that just feeling of utter joy when you just see that candy and you're just so focused on it, and yes,
Yeah.
but there's very few things in life that can replicate that amount of joy.
Because you know that it's like it validates who you chose as a friend. Like it validates yourself that you chose as a friend.
Especially if you had a limited amount that you were allowed to give out. And you're going through like class lists, drafting like, okay, this guy's gonna get me. You know, I have to give this guy because he's my best friend, but that guy.
Yeah.
Okay, so my next one is going to be. I'm gonna go with costume contests. So, I feel like with Purim, there's different kinds of people. What? What'd you say?
No, I didn't hear what you said. I didn't hear what you said. What was that?
Costume contests, like Purim costume contests. Have you never heard of a costume contest?
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, me neither.
Really?
But we grew up in Passaic.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that's probably why. But it's basically.
I don't think that's an insult.
You don't think that's what?
I don't think that's an insult.
Oh no, it's like, do you ever have like a school party for a school Purim party before Purim?
Yeah, I mean.
And people came in contests. People came in costumes.
Yeah.
No, we had that. When did we have that?
Yeah, everybody did. The Purim Masiba, everybody came in costume.
I sure hope you had that.
No, I don't know. I'm saying up until like base measures, I don't remember having any sort of thing like that.
We had it every year.
Okay.
That's when the Rebbeim really let loose and put on a tie with a pattern.
But that's on Purim. Like you're talking about
not
before.
on Purim.
No, there was
Purim.
Every year in every
used
school.
To do it by Tanis Esther to break the fast.
I don't know.
Okay, but maybe Shlomo never had it, but every single other from Jew had it in their school. They had like Purim Masiba or whatever, or even in Shul or something. And there's always, maybe not in Passaic, but in other places, there's costume contests. Like whoever has the best costume gets a prize at the end.
It didn't go.
We never had that.
That's a shame, because they're a lot of fun. But no, it's basically seeing how creative. I mean, so this just gets into the whole idea of that there's certain people who are costume people, certain people who aren't, and
we're Menachem, we're exceeding the bounds of your pick here.
Yeah, but
I'm just going a little far because there is something on my list that you're touching on.
Yeah, I have both. I have that on your list, and I also have the other costume thing on your list, also, Shlomo.
Okay, so I'm not gonna get too much into it, but just in general, costume contests are fun because you get to see who could be creative and stuff like that, and just
so I guess
winning is fun also. So
right,
yeah.
Okay, you really okay. I'm probably not going to use my other one now. Okay, go.
You could use it. Don't worry.
So I'm gonna kind of use that to tie into my next one because I actually think it's important. I also think Shlomo might take it. But it's the costumes by Mincha on Purim.
Bingo.
So there's a guy in Passaic who just, I mean, the level of commitment by him is just truly impressive. I mean, one year he dressed up as another guy in the shul. Yeah. It was incredible. It was absolutely incredible. But the concept of having people who are legitimately serious people in their lives just coming to daven fully in the costume is fantastic. It's an amazing thing.
Yeah, I always call it, and I put it on the ticker on the bottom. I always call it like Project Runway. by Mincha.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. It's one of my favorite parts of
and my
Purim,
favorite
for sure.
is like, Joe, you touched on it before, is like the real yeshivish guy or the Ernst guy who shows up to Mincha with like a yarmulke, with like, let's say he's a yeshivish guy with like
Wait,
yarmulke.
Shlomo, is this gonna be your picks? Because you're also touching on other things.
No, it's not pick, and I just lost my what do you call it? My notes. It just logged me out for some reason, but I know what I'm taking anyway.
Does it also have to do with costumes?
No. What I was saying. No, it was kind of touched upon already. So no, it's not. That wouldn't be what I'm picking. But I'm just saying, like, the whole
Also,
the whole mincha, the whole Purim mincha, up down, like looking like, oh wow, I didn't know that they were like that. Okay,
Yeah.
so I mean, I wanted to say other stuff about but I don't want to infringe on your pick if you're gonna do another pick about costumes.
I don't think I will. Oh, I do have one. Yeah, there is one.
Okay, so we'll save it for the end. I just have other stuff to say about costumes. I just don't want to infringe on it.
Yeah. So my next pick is not going to be costume related. It's actually not necessarily even like such a funny one per se, but for me, the first Vayhi B'mei Achashverosh, like when the Megillah starts at night, and you're like, all right, it's on.
Yeah. That's the I'll see you in 24 hours moment.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But it's also, by the way, this is also a very, I mean, Shlomo, you've lain the Megillah before, but for those of us who haven't, this is the moment where you're like kind of looking over to see, what are they doing with the Megillah? Why is there so much rustling going on over there? And
yeah, I mean, it's a little overrated. It's not so complicated.
No, but it's, as someone who hasn't lain the Megillah, it's all the way over there, and what's going on?
Right. Okay, so no, I can't do that. I can't do it. Okay, so the number 3, I gotta go with it. It's too easy. Let's not overthink this. Is Rebbe, I want to learn. Like it's. I just got
phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Yeah.
That should have been the number one pick, if I'm being honest.
I have to know, were either of you guys ever that guy?
No.
No.
God, no.
Oh, thank God. Because I was just gonna say that I hate those guys, but I didn't. I was hoping that neither of you were gonna be.
Yeah. All right.
Shlomo, did you pick your third one yet? Oh, that was your third one.
I did. I'm not doing the ticker anymore. It's taking too much out of me, so I'm trying to do this on my phone.
Okay, so it's my turn, right?
Yeah.
That was a dig at Menachem, but didn't play.
No, I'm locked in.
So that number 3 for me is the well actually drunk guys.
Wait.
Like, oh, you really could be Mekayim this year by drinking and going to sleep.
Okay.
Well, actually,
okay. Thank you for clarifying, because neither of us had any idea what you meant.
You mean
actually, yeah. Well, actually, Rabbi Twersky says that really you're not supposed to drink at all because the Kanas Nefashos comes up basically Teaneck.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah.
All right. So my last 2 now. So I know, Yosef, you were never in Israel, right?
I mean, I was never there for Purim, but I was there.
Yeah. No, I mean like for yeshiva.
No, neither was Shlomo.
Shlomo, you weren't there either? Okay, so neither of you are going to get this one, so that's fantastic. But hopefully enough of our listeners will.
There's a lot of listening.
What?
I said there's a lot of people listening. They'll
Right.
get it.
So the bus in Israel on Purim is one of the most unbelievable experiences you will ever have in your entire life. I'll just leave it at that, and anyone who's been there will know what I mean. And my last pick is the really sweet yeshivish guy who gets way too drunk and way too wild and ends up throwing up over everything. It's one of my favorite parts about Purim every single year.
Yeah.
My last one is going to be Hamantashen.
Solid.
So
wait, you like Hamantashen?
No.
You don't like Hamantashen?
Wait, you don't like
No.
cheesecake?
Alien human being. I'm normal.
Strawberry jelly Hamantaschen? You're telling me you don't like that?
No.
What's wrong
Hold
with
on.
you? You don't. He doesn't. I guess, like you said, he doesn't like cheesecake either. But like,
Yeah.
come on.
But yeah, no. So there's a couple of reasons why I'm going with Hamantaschen. Number one, it's easily the most identifiable part of Purim. Number two, it's the thing that people make that they package up in plastic bags and put in their shalachmanas to make it like, you know, they make it look like it was bakery bought, but we can all tell it was homemade. And the last thing is that our mother does happen to make the best hamantashen in the world. So
Well,
there's that
Shlomo
as
wouldn't
well.
know.
Pandering pick right there.
Well, yeah, I have to make up for the picking Nechel's challenge.
Yeah, that's a story for another time. But yeah. Okay. There are so many good ones here. Okay, I have so many good ones here. I can go with like party snappers. I can go
Oh, I forgot about. But you can't say these if you're not. Are you picking those?
Well, I'm picking last. I don't know. Like right now,
These are basically his honorable mentions. He's gauging our reactions to decide which one he's going to go with.
You can't just like say all of them and then just decide.
I said it. I just said it. You reacted. I just said it.
He's hedging his bets right here.
No, because there are other good ones. It's in between. It's in between two really good ones. And one is party snappers. I got it. Okay, I'm not going to go with party snappers, even though it's very identifiable, because the one I will go with applies at every age and every stage.
Wait, can I guess?
Yeah.
Silly string.
No.
That's also a good one.
Yeah, that goes. I have that written with party snappers, but
I forgot about all of these things.
no. What I'm going with
Kip guns. Kip guns.
I was gonna say that for my honorable mentions.
Oh,
What?
sorry.
Cap guns.
Kip guns.
Yeah. So for me, it's like all. But okay. So more on that.
That's like that's the number one. It's like cap. I'm trying to see what I'm doing with my hands, but I can't because it's all backwards. But like highest level cap guns, next party snappers, then silly string, and they're all unbelievable.
Yeah.
But cap guns are just. Yeah.
The one I'm going with, I don't know how to phrase it, but you'll know what I mean, is pulling off that shalach manas to someone who's not on your list.
That's a good one.
Yeah. So whether it's like just the panic that the temporary panic that sets in when you're like, oh no, or just everything about it, like when you're reevaluating, like, oh, I didn't know we were like that. You know, I didn't know you and I were like that.
Right.
Or just like
that is a very, very good pick.
There's definitely a degree of social commentary when it comes to the whole shelf.
Yeah, it's
the fact.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shlomo, you want to go with your honorable mentions?
Yeah. Just one second. Let me just write this down. Okay. Yeah. Because by the way, that panic that sets in with when the guy shows up or the whatever the family shows up that's not on your list, it's matched by when you pull off a smooth recycle of someone else's shalach manas and you give it to them. Yeah, it might say like Freilich and Purim from like Mishpachas Klugman or something, and your name is like Greenstein, but like who cares? If you're able to successfully pull it off, it's an equally great feeling. Okay, so my honorable mentions.
By the way, I just want to put it out there that as good as you think you pulled it off, you probably didn't. Like.
Okay, so I have some like KA honorable mentions. So let's just run through them.
I don't know what KA means.
Kick bleep.
Okay. I wasn't aware that was a thing that people said. I don't know.
Yeah, we're a family-friendly show. Okay. Number one honorable mention: Yeshivas Mordechai Tzaddik.
Yes. I had that written down. I had that written down as learning in lieu of collecting. But yes.
Yeah.
But by the way, that being said, I'm very happy that none of you put collecting on your list because collecting is by far the worst part of Purim. I don't understand how people enjoy it.
I have a very
It's-
specific one.
I
have a very
hate it.
specific one.
You hated collecting? I didn't hate it. I really
I never
didn't.
went
I don't
collecting.
know.
Um,
I think I went
Okay.
once, and I'm like, never again.
so I went like 4 years. I enjoyed it. I
did not.
So okay, yeah. Next is okay. So Joe touched on it before. So I don't want to specify to like anything in particular, but the anti-drinker who's drunk on his own moral superiority. That's a big
Shlomo. Shlomo.
me.
No. Just drunk on your own moral superiority. Not nothing to do with Purim.
Number 3 is just Purim in yeshiva. Just Stam Purim in yeshiva is great.
Solid.
Next,
wait. By the way, before you go further, going off of the drunken moral superiority, who do you think, like, just out of all the drunks on Purim, who's the worst? You have the crier, you have like the wild one, you have the barfers.
Drunk, I'll tell you what it is.
You have the I love you guys, and you have your I'm drunk off my moral superiority.
I'll tell you what it is.
Which one do you think?
Drunk l'shem drunk is the worst. The guy who's drinking to drink, meaning not to get drunk.
That what everyone is doing? I don't know.
No. Like chip on his shoulder drinker. Where he feels like he has to kind of, you only had like 5 shots? I had like 1 million. That guy is the worst. Because he's a combination of all of them.
I guess, but he's not really like, I don't know if he goes into this category of types of drunks. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going with the crier. Or the barfer. Like it's between the barfer or the crier.
The hugger is pretty bad too.
Yeah, that goes into the I love you guys category.
Yeah,
I'm not a big fan of that one. I feel like the criers. Yes, that is also true. But I feel like the criers and the I love you guys pretty much overlap.
Right.
Sometimes, not always, but they could. So I feel like the overlapping of that is probably the worst.
But the thing is, like criers, like obviously this isn't an inside thing, but we've experienced criers where it was just like it was part of the comedy of Purim.
Right, so that's what I'm saying. It could depend. Like,
by the way,
they're not always that
this
annoying.
could just be my opinion, but I think it's your projection of what the person is beforehand, of what you know of the person is how you view their drunk when they're drunk. So if the guy who you know is a nice, normal guy, you're not going to view his crying as like, ugh.
Right, I guess.
That is true to some extent, but I feel like there are people that I didn't like, but I did like them drunk, or people that I forgot the one that I forgot which one I just said, but the opposite is the other one that I'm saying.
That may be a commentary on you.
I don't know.
I just have a couple more. This one is very specific. Menachem hopefully will experience this soon. Shana Rishona couples on Purim.
I mean, I've experienced it not with myself, but with other people, and it can vary a lot.
Yes. Okay. Yes. So I would say like this: it's one or the other. Either they're all in on the costume theme, right? They're all in on it, going all out, and it's hilarious when like let's say your boy, your friend, who in previous years like his idea of a costume was like going to the thrift store and like getting like a moth-eaten hat and like counting that as a costume, and then like you see him Shana Rishona and he's like in a milk carton, like head to toe or whatever, like just.
Solomon, that's an oddly specific one, Solomon.
Why do we know someone that did that?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't remember.
Solomon, you're gonna cut this anyway, but it was Yaakov.
Oh, okay.
The first year they dressed up as cookies and milk.
I didn't remember that. Okay.
Okay, so actually, this reminds me of what because when we were doing the Mizrach Vant, I wanted to say I feel like in general there are guys who are costume guys and guys who are just not. So
yeah, so that was one of my honorable mentions, is the half-hearted costume guy.
So I could be completely wrong. I don't know, but I get the feeling that Shlomo is not a big costume guy.
I am. No, I am. I am.
Really?
Shlomo was always a costume guy.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I would have assumed not.
Yeah, I had a year or two where I didn't want to be in a costume, and then after that I became a serious costume person.
My entire life I've always been full go. Like completely full. Like I'm not like no half-hearted stuff. Like full-blown costume every single year. I don't think I had any years off.
This year, I'm probably going to be a little half-hearted because it's Friday. Like, I'm not going all in for like a Purim that's like 10 hours. It's just not, meaning including the night. It's just not happening.
Funny story. When I was in Israel, I guess the Purim was Thursday. Also, another thing we forgot: 2-day Purims in Israel. Those are a lot of fun. I mean, neither of you guys were in Israel for Purim, so you don't get that either. But it was a 2-day Purim, so it was Thursday, Friday, and I went into Shabbos with what just happened there? I don't know.
Joe, you still there?
Yeah,
are you there? You're still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I just had to text. I had to text my wife.
Okay, but I ended up having to go into Shabbos with black nail polish, so that was interesting.
Yeah. So like this, yes. So Shana Rishana couples, yeah, they're either all in or they're not doing anything. Yeah, we said party snappers. Okay, this I was never super into, but turning over the yeshiva, like I was never super into.
I mean, I feel like I was involved a few times. It was fun. But it is stressful. Like if you're involved with doing it, it is stressful. But if you're not involved, like I've also been not involved and just enjoying it, like that's fun.
Right, I guess.
Yeah, I was never involved.
I mean, like I'm a creature of habit. I don't know. Just messing with routine is just, I don't like it. And the last one is just Uber Geschmack Mesifta Bacher collecting. The entire being, whether it's getting annoyed at them, messing with them, laughing at them, like it's all part of it. So those are my honorable mentions.
Yeah, so I'll go next. I had my favorite ones. I mean, some of you just mentioned yours, but my favorite ones are definitely the first time collectors. Like the 8th grade kids, like they pop their head out the front of the limo because no one's ever done that before, and they're blasting the music because no one's ever done that before. So I love those guys. The Yom Kippurim speeches.
Yeah.
Purim is more holy than Yom Kippur. Those speeches are fantastic.
Yeah, sure, okay, yeah, I'm like hammered right now, but sure, it's all like Purim. Yeah, go on.
The Happy Purim versus Afreilichen Purim people.
Very good. That's a good Shabbos Shabbat Shalom type of deal.
Yeah. Theme Shalach Manos.
What was that?
Themed Shalach Manos. And then my absolute favorite part, this was a traumatic part of growing up, and I think it's hysterical, the awkward interaction with the Rav on Purim.
Oh, so my Rav gets very, very drunk. So that's
what I'm saying. There's a few different versions of it. There's the earlier in the day where you have to go drop off Shalach Manos by the Rav, and it's always weird because there's the hangers on and the people who are just kind of hanging out by the Rav's house, and you go in and you're in your costume, which is weird because he's, like I said, he's wearing a checkered tie instead of a one color. Things are just strange. And then there's the other set of Rabbanim who just get absolutely wasted, and there's no halfway. Great story. First year Beis Medrash. We went to my Rebbe's house, and he was so drunk that I had to hold his head up. Like, he couldn't hold his head up. He's trying to talk to people, and I have to legitimately hold his head up.
Well.
All right.
Menachem, you have yours?
Yeah, so one is just, this was always something that I just enjoyed, the 10 Sons of Haman. Just, I don't know why. It's just like I don't really have any more explanation of that, just the 10 Sons of Haman. That's just... I
will tell you that, like, as someone who's lain in the Megillah many times, I always pay attention because it is like a little bit of a macho thing for Baal Kriya. Like, you have guys that will forget about the 10 Sons of Haman. We're talking about the entire parak in one breath. Those are like people like myself who will try to prove to everybody that this 10 Sons of Haman thing, child's play. But then you have the other ones that will like deliberately take as many breaths during the 10 Sons of Haman because, like, you don't really need to say it in one breath.
You don't actually have to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, there's the process of choosing which wine you're going to drink on Purim based on the fact that you know that there's a decent chance that you will never be able to drink that wine again because you will just remind you of growing up. So you have to like choose, like it has to be a good enough wine that you want to drink, but also like not your favorite wine, so that you're fine with never drinking this again if
And
what
by
happens.
it always ends up being like jeunesse or something.
Yeah,
Some like
I was that. By the way, that was another thing that I had written down. Just jeunesse.
Right. I was gonna. My response was gonna be, and why is it jeunesse?
Yes.
yeah.
I feel like there's one other one that was also popular.
By the way, that's another thing that must be mentioned. It's not even necessarily an honorable mention, but it's the Moscato sippers.
Oof.
It's Purim, so I'm gonna let myself go.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. And any others?
No, you guys said most of them by the time it got to me. But
Yeah, I'm sure we missed like a ton. I mean, it's so open.
Yes. One very important one: dancing with the garbage man / whatever guy happens to be walking by.
Yeah.
yes,
That's like a subcategory of the Geschmacka Mesivta Bacher.
Yeah,
That's
for sure.
the dancing with the janitor in yeshiva.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Sorry, custodian. Sorry.
Oh,
Sorry.
and Purim spiels. Just
Okay.
I'm just throwing it out there. Purim spiels.
The Purim tape.
Oh.
How did we not say that? Like that should have been on the Mizrach Vant.
Shlomo,
that should have been like first on the Mizrach Vant. Oh my!
Shlomo, you have no excuse.
I'm so disappointed in all three of us.
Shlomo, you have kids in the right age group. You have no right.
Forget about kids. That's this is another thing that transcends all ages. The Purim tape is the best thing about Purim, and it's not even close. I mean,
yeah.
When we were in third grade, we put on a play based on the Purim like the Purim tape. We just did the Purim tape, and we didn't even like need to practice because we all knew the whole thing by heart.
Wait,
by that
hold
point.
on, Menachem. I have to ask you, just because I want to make sure we all had the same experience. What's the best line in the entire Purim, story?
You can't do that because there's so many good ones.
Yeah. But when I say this, no, give me what you think is number one because I think we all have the same one.
I don't think we do. I don't think we do, but like there's just certain
things.
It
has to be Zeresh, I'm home. Big deal. Big deal.
That's a good one, but there's also there was the guards that would come every time when he calls, like, we're here to do the will of the king. And I had one friend who was really good at, like, that was his part in the thing, was to be the will of the king guy, and he was unbelievable at it. I was Queen Esther, by the way, just in case you're wondering. But it was like, I honestly, I don't think I've ever been more disappointed of the podcast as a whole than the fact that we didn't have the Purim tape.
Yeah, it's
and
true.
Rightfully
honestly,
so.
We should. I was gonna say we should really like put a disclaimer before we post the graphic of the Mizrach Vant. Just like, okay, yes, we blew it. Okay, we missed the Purim story.
But at least we remembered before we finished the episode. Like, at least we remembered now so that we could talk about it. It's not like we completely left it off the episode. But, like, it's not putting it on is a travesty.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Oh,
right. There's so much to talk about. Like, we didn't even get into the fact that Purim's on a Friday this year and how much that sucks. But whatever. Okay, so what were you gonna say?
There is, I think you were saying you wanted to just ask the question overall, like, do you like Purim? I feel like that's a very
because it's Purim and Simchas Torah are the same thing. You either love it or you hate it. There's no in between. So, and if you're in the right situation, then it's good, and if you're in the wrong situation, it's terrible. So I personally love Purim. I love it, just like I love Simchas Torah if I'm in the right situation. But what about you guys?
So I'll say that. So Simchas Torah, most of the time I hate it. Like when I was in yeshiva, if like basically this is just a really roundabout saying that if I get drunk on Simchas Torah, it's enjoyable. If I don't, then it's not. So I was gonna like go on a whole long spiel, but that's basically what I'm saying. And
By
then
the
on
way,
Purim,
the Geschmack drunk guys on Purim are the same guys who dance around holding the Gemaras on Simchas Torah. Those are the same people.
yeah, I
And
hear.
it's always they always do that during Baruch Hu Elokeinu. Like it's always during
Right.
that time that they like rip off like a Gemara, like getting like some like morbidly dry topic on like what do you call it? Like something in the second parak, like DI or something like that. And like it's like, dude, relax, okay?
Yeah, but so like I'm saying, Simchas Torah, because at this point I'm at the point where I'm not really getting drunk on Simchas Torah, so at this point I pretty much just hate it.
Mm.
But Purim, I'm still getting drunk every year, so as long as I'm drunk, I'm fine. Like I mean, so this goes back.
So, Shlomo, just cut that piece. As long as I'm drunk, I'm fine.
But this goes back into the overall arc that I have, is that Purim is basically for three types of people. One is little kids, and like little kids, no matter what, like you love Purim. And then the second one is Yeshiva Bachram. Like
Right.
that's probably, I would say
Little
overall, I guess that it does become like that, but I think overall that's probably the best age to be celebrating Purim. And
Yeah,
then
by far.
the other one is for like the young married couples who get to like get drunk, show off their wife and kids and whatever. But otherwise, it's like unless you're, I mean, like once you get drunk, it can be for whoever. But like the beginning of the day, like because for like we were saying before, like the middle age between when you're like a little kid and when you're yeshiva bacher, that's got to be definitely the worst. And I would say
Brutal.
second worst is probably Rebbe's wives. And then actually that might be number one. That might be number one. But
I'm not sure if you've seen this, but in a lot of these healthcare places now, hospitals and nursing homes and all that kind of stuff, they have signs that say "Heroes live here" or something like that. I'm just waiting for those signs by Purim, outside of Rebbe's house. "Heroes live here."
Honestly, I feel so bad for them. I mean, just in general, I feel like once you're over the age of like 7 or 8, being a girl on Purim is not incredibly enjoyable. But I guess it's one of those things.
Story that I can't say on air. Regarding it kind of like combines both of these things. Okay, but it has to be off air.
Yeah, I'll remind you afterwards. But I don't know. What about you guys? Do you would you say, do you enjoy Purim?
I love
do
it.
you like Purim?
I love Purim. For me, and this is like it's a weird thing because I'm the guy who complains every year that the haftarahs are getting longer. So, but I love the entire process from the beginning till the Ma'ariv at the end is
So
one of my favorite days of the year.
I guess that's where I could say that I differ with you, is that I don't like. I wouldn't say I enjoy the whole thing.
I love it.
There's definitely parts of it I enjoy, but there's definitely parts of it that I don't.
Yeah, there's slow. I would agree with you, Menachem. On the whole, I love it, but there are number one. It does depend on the situation. Number two, I would say, there are definitely slow parts that are.
Oh yeah, you know what? Actually, there is one part that I hate, which is being in the car. I like the process of delivering shalonis. I like all that, but just the being in the car going to deliver it is pretty bad.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal sometimes.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So there's a lot else to get into, but we're running really late right now. So let's just wrap it up with we haven't done this in a while. 5-star reviews.
Oh right. I think you reminded me because there was a what?
I know. I know you. Yeah, I know. I told him.
No, there was a 0.0% chance that I was remembering that. Like no chance whatsoever.
So that's why I had it open here. So we wouldn't forget. Don't touch your screen, Menachem, because your screen's very sensitive, so we might lose you.
Oh no, I'm doing it on my phone.
Oh, okay, fine.
Okay. Fine. So there's 2 new 5-star reviews, and these guys have actually, both of these guys have been WhatsApping me a lot, and they both really enjoy the podcast, and they're like the 2 biggest guys who are always either like texting me stuff about the podcast or just like, when's the next one coming out?
So I will say, Moshe Kolat, I hope you're listening, because you have competition for our listener
Yes.
of the year. It will be announced at some point.
Right. So the first one is from Nuchi1542. Can't get enough. These guys are so enjoyable to listen to. Can't get enough. Thank you for that.
So wait, hold on. Can he get enough?
I don't think so. I can check one more time to make sure. No, he can't.
Oh, no. Okay.
And then the last one is by Yitz with an exclamation point. And his title is incredible. Best thing to listen on my commute. I would definitely recommend, and I better get a shout out even though I don't have a cheesy username. So there you go, Yitz. You got your shout out.
I have one question. You said it's Yitz with an exclamation point?
Yes. No, not instead of the I. Like Yitz and then an exclamation point.
I got it. Is he related to
so you're related to Yehuda? I knew you. I saw where you were going with that.
Yeah, that was a
yeah, I know, but now I'm gonna. By the way, this is gonna keep me up at night. That Malcolm cut me off right by the punchline.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, I'm just looking at some of our competition in the religion category. Interesting.
I'm curious how many 5-star ratings these guys have. Like
a lot of death podcasts and pagan podcasts. Wow. All right.
Yeah, sounds all right.
Anyway, okay, we are way over time here. So, yeah, I don't know when we're going to be releasing this, but it'll be before Purim, hopefully, as soon as we figure out this whole streaming thing.
And as soon as we finish recording, I'm going to post on the WhatsApp status that we just recorded. So whenever you listen to it, you can go back and see that was when what did you say, Shlomo?
I was going to say, tell them that we have the YouTube channel with no videos, just audio. So if they want to re-listen to old stuff that they listened to without being able to get another one of the senses involved.
And also, as an added bonus, if you go out of the YouTube app, you won't be able to listen anymore. So in case you want all of that, then go and watch our YouTube.
Unless of course you want to try. Unless
you're one of those nutcases who pays for YouTube Red.
YouTube Red, right? Lunatics. You're gonna have to do better than 1 month free if I'm even gonna remotely consider this. Like, it's gonna have to be at least one lifetime. At least one lifetime.
I would say I would consider doing it for a year, maybe. I don't know if I would do it, but I would think about it. I would think about it.
For me, like it just there's a skip ad thing. Like, it's just 5 seconds. Like, I could wait 5 seconds. You know.
Although YouTube is getting very cocky. Like they're
giving like 2 ads and 30-second ads.
One is unskippable. I mean, they're getting very cocky. I'm waiting for Parler to open up YouTube.
Yeah. No, there's a what's that thing called? Rumble.
Oh, sure. That.
Yeah.
Try it once I'm out.
I feel like half of the things that you guys talk about sometimes I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
That's why we started a podcast, so you can get out in the world.
Yeah. I'll be staring at that painting all day.
Yeah. Okay. We got to end this. We got to wrap this up. Okay, so I guess we're probably not putting out another one before Purim. There's no chance we're putting out another one before Purim. So,
you mean another episode
Purim,
before Purim?
Yeah.
Afreilchem Happy Purim.
Yeah, sure, what they say.
Yeah, exactly. All right. We will be back at some point before Pesach. Okay.
All right.